Hello and welcome to Inspiral Out Loud, where Mars and I are chatting about energy today. Yeah, now it really comes down to, well, what can we do? And from what I can see, we are dealing with issues of control. It's not that technology and various options aren't available. It's just finding the ways to be able to do it safely without all of us disappearing in the middle of the night. So I guess what I'd like to share is just some information on what you can do to help, especially from a health perspective right now, dealing with what we currently have. And I'm speaking to this partly because I personally am incredibly sensitive to EMFs and to electricity, and some of my friends who are dealing with chronic illness also have quite severe sensitivities. So I've been following Dr. Dietrich Klinghart for some time, and he's been working with a lot of chronic and unexplained illness and autism and Lyme disease and all sorts of things for a long time, for over 20 years. And he's working with clients, he's working in the trenches, he's not reflecting on other people's research. So he's really talking from experience. And he pretty much says to parents of, say, kids that are coming in with autism, he will not treat them until they completely clean up the electricity in their house. And so he gets them to go to reasonably extreme levels, which is to cut off the entire electricity to the house itself at night time, because our body, I think it's about 11 till 3, like that's the main time when our body is rebuilding itself and detoxifying and healing itself. And so we really need that time to be clear. So what I do is I actually just turn off all of the power in my bedroom at the power points, so that at least you're not gridlocked by electricity. And, we've spoken before in the communications segment about, turning off all the Wi-Fi, and so I'm not going to go more deeply into that. But I think if it is something that affects you or you're concerned about, it's worthwhile looking into Klinghart's work. And he also talks about using EMF shielding. So if you look online, you can find things like you can buy canopies that are made of a silver fabric. They look essentially like a mosquito net, but they basically stop EMFs from coming through. And a friend of mine who has Lyme disease bought one, and she was sitting in bed trying to use her phone going, "What's going on? Why won't my phone work?" And then she realized it's because she was in a canopy. So they work. So there's different things like that. You can buy clothing that's actually made out of that has these silver threads through them. You can get or make, if I'm just going to buy some silver fabric and make things like a cover to put over the Wi-Fi router, and you can buy bags to put your mobile phones in, all of that kind of stuff. So you can shield yourself from EMFs. I've also got a grounding sheet that I have on my bed, and also a grounding mat that I put under my feet when I'm working at the computer. And they plug into the power socket on the wall, but they just plug into the grounding point. So it's essentially earthing yourself while you're sleeping and while you're working. And I find that helps hugely. Part of the reason that I love camping is just being in contact with the earth. So I find these days, if I'm feeling sick, one of the first things I'll do is just go and actually put my bare feet on the earth, go down to the ocean if I need to, and just to shed that excess electricity from my body. So I find that that's absolutely necessary. And just educating ourselves about these different options and I think is just so important. Not only what other kinds of technologies are available, but just things like learning homesteading, like learning how to cook if all of a sudden our electricity gets cut off, where we've put ourselves in an incredibly vulnerable situation, or we've been put in a vulnerable situation, however you want to look at it, where most of the things that we require for our living, we need money and we need a government and we need all of that massive infrastructure able to be able to bring us our water and our gas and our electricity. So even just the simplest thing, learn how to rub some sticks together and make fire, learn how to make a water filter so that you can get water out of the ocean, you know, just those absolutely basic things that might seem ridiculous. But if for at any stage the systems broke down and we found ourselves unable to do our day-to-day tasks, we might be thankful that we spent a bit of time hanging out with the hippies in the bush.